Welcome to Detachment Diaries. This channel is about situationships, emotional patterns, and personal growth. I share stories from my past, not to shame anyone, but to understand myself and learn. If you relate to patterns of attachment, ambiguity, or emotional cycles, you're in the right place. I once kept a man in my life for almost 2 years, even though I wasn't attracted to him. I didn't like his personality, and I knew I would never choose him. So why did I stay? Because he was convenient. After my previous situationship, I told myself I needed something different. Less chaos, less emotional volatility, less obsession. That's when Johan entered the picture. It's not his real name. We matched on a dating app. We talked for a few weeks before meeting, and even before we met, it was already complicated. I was still emotionally entangled with the other guy. I wasn't healed, I was just tired. And I found out Johan was also seeing my friend's sister. That should have been my first sign to step away. But instead of walking away, I leaned in because I wasn't looking for alignment. I was looking for distraction. If I'm being honest, I think part of me liked that he liked me more. It felt like an ego boost, especially in a phase where my ego was bruised. And I met Johan during what I now call my toxic phase. The phase where I wanted to replace the other guy, but deep inside, I still wanted the other guy. When I finally met Johan in person, I knew immediately I wasn't physically attracted to him. Not in a way that makes you feel electric. But I was a people pleaser and I didn't want to reject him. So I slept with him that night. And here's where it gets complicated. He was good in bed, very good. And he was attentive, focused on my pleasure, a giver. And that became the foundation of our dynamic. Outside the bedroom, I found him boring. Low emotional intelligence. We didn't connect deeply, but inside the bedroom it worked. And because it worked physically, I convinced myself that was enough. I knew he saw other girls. He knew I was still entangled with the other guy. I even trauma dumped about the other guy to him. And looking back, that wasn't healthy. He wasn't my therapist. He wasn't my boyfriend. He was someone I was using for comfort. But I wasn't jealous of the other girls because I knew I was his favorite. He liked me more than I liked him, and that gave me power. Or at least that's what I thought. His place was just near my office. He offered convenience. I could stay over and avoid commuting, and somewhere in my mind, I created a transaction. I'll give him sex, he'll give me convenience. And that thought alone should tell you everything about where I was emotionally. It wasn't love. It wasn't even real connection. It was exchange. And I felt guilty about that because deep down, I knew I didn't really like him. I liked what he provided: attention, sex, convenience, validation, but not him. Here's the twist though. When I rejected exclusivity and he started pulling away, I felt jealous. For a moment, I thought that meant I had feelings. Like, am I falling for this guy? But looking back, I didn't miss him. I missed the attention. I missed being chosen. And there's a difference. When he got a girlfriend and they were in an open relationship, we still continued sleeping together. And at that time, I thought I had feelings. I would feel jealous of the girlfriend, but if I'm brutally honest, I didn't want him. I wanted to win. And that's a hard thing to admit. I wanted to keep him even though I didn't like him. That's ego. That's insecurity. That's immaturity. And it's important to own that. We fought a lot. Not dramatic chaos like the other guy, but small childish arguments. Conversation where I felt like I was talking to someone emotionally underdeveloped. Well, eventually he moved out of the country to travel with his girlfriend, and I remember feeling something unexpected. Relief. Relief that I didn't have to keep meeting him. Relief that I didn't have to keep pretending, because I was still trying to convince myself we could be platonic. But the truth, he couldn't be platonic. He always sexualized me. And the more I worked on myself, the more I realized something simple. I didn't even want him as a friend. Outside the bedroom, I didn't enjoy his company. I felt guilty for thinking that. So I forced myself to believe I liked hanging out with him. But I didn't. And guilt is not a reason to stay connected to someone. Eventually, after another fight where he belittled my goals and reduced our dynamic back to something physical, I was done. Not dramatically, just clearly. I stopped trying to force something that wasn't there. Our friendship, if I can even call it that, lasted almost 2 years. 2 years. And the current version of me would have walked away after the first meeting. Because here's what I learned. Don't sleep with someone you're not attracted to just because you don't want to hurt their feelings. Don't stay because you feel guilty. And don't confuse convenience with compatibility. And don't keep someone around just to suit your ego. It's not fair to them, and it's not fair to you. My previous video was about chaos, and this video is about convenience. And both came from the same place. Not fully knowing my worth, not fully trusting that I could wait for something aligned. But that's what this journey is about. Growth isn't clean. Sometimes you're the one being mistreated. Sometimes you're the one staying too long. And sometimes you're the one who needs to take accountability.